What's up, everyone? Let's talk the FX Chronograph. Yeah, I've had this for a few years now, and you know me, I'm usually critical on a lot of products I buy. And again, this is an unpaid, I purchased this review, so I think you'll get the honest scoop. And then, yeah, we got the Chronograph, I guess, LED readout that you can attach to your monitor. So this device, I'm gonna give you the pros, cons, some future improvements, overall thoughts on this. So this has been my main chronograph over the last 2 years. I've got a few other ones, but I always find myself using the FX Chronograph because, first of all, the benefit, it's so small. Now, as air gunner, you guys know we have tanks, we have all kinds of different slugs, pellets, multiple guns. Packing in another large, chronograph is kind of a real pain. And the fact that this is super small, yeah, it really does help. And the fact that you can have different mounts. So you can mount it on a tripod right next to your rifle. There's some, you can have like little stringies that you can tie around the barrel that you can get the readout. They have other little pipes and other Picatinny adjustments. You can put it for, let's say, the FX impact right under the barrel to get the capture. And again, they have this that bolts on another Picatinny that you can actually see. But another advantage is the fact that you can communicate with Android and iOS applications. Like they have an FX radar application. This app is very, very good in comparison. So something that we want on the day state side is be able to have a Bluetooth app that captures the shot string and then kind of relays it. So this device, along with the application, you're able to get 100 shots, chrono it out, and save it off as a shot string, like a whole string, save it off, and you can't just keep doing more and more. So it's slick, it's easy. You basically turn this device on, you open up your app, you connect to it, and you're pretty much good to go. Overall, the accuracy of this device is actually pretty spot on. I've compared it against the Daystate Delta Wolf chronograph. It's right at the same. Other chronographs that I have, yeah, it's pretty much, as accurate as you can be. Another advantage is the fact that it works in really horrible lighting. In fact, it would work in the dark. And that's a huge advantage over the traditional light-sourced one where you have an entry point where it captures a shadow and an exit point where it captures the other shadow and it does a differential and it gives you that. Just know that, yeah, it's really slick and it works in various conditions. In addition to working with various lighting, it doesn't miss a shot because this is always on. Now you could have like a lab radar that gets, it's on when you take a shot and it does some kind of vibration or it captures that kind of massive blast, or you have other systems where depending on the light, if you go behind a cloud, it's not bright enough, it doesn't capture the shot. So I kind of find in using the FX Chronograph that it captures like 90 to 95% of the shots, where some of my other chronographs just don't do as well. Another advantage is this is right around $200 to $300, depending on what setup you get. Could be up to $400, but if you look at other chronographs, it's right in there with the price point. In fact, I think it offers a much better value. The biggest thing I could say is the FX Chronograph is super fast and lightweight to set up. The speed part is really nice because you see other guys out there with the large traditional chronographs. They have to get a tripod and they have to get a mount. They have to set it up. They have to make sure they shoot through this thing and they got to do everything else, which takes, 2 or 3 minutes. And then it's amplified because they got to take it down. This literally is just kind of put it on a barrel, get your readout, take it off, and you're good to move on to different things. So what's some of the disadvantages of this device? Well, number one is the battery life. As I mentioned, it's always on. The fact that you use like 3 little AAA batteries, and then, the battery life will get you like 8 to 10 hours, maybe a little bit more, but just you definitely want some backup batteries to go with you. It has an indicator, a low battery indicator on here, so it'll give you that. I think in the application as well, it'll kind of tell you the battery of what the juice is like. So that's very much needed. And yeah, it's not terrible, but it could be improved. It also has a limited max and minimum feet per second that'll capture. So I think it's around 300 to 500 feet per second, and then no more than 1100 feet per second. I don't know if this can be changed through a firmware app or the application capturing things, but overall it's not something for a regular high-powered rifle where you're shooting like 2700 feet per second. It just can't capture that. As I mentioned, this has multiple connections. You can put it on a tripod, your gun, your rifle, or around it or anything, but overall, it's still a little big. It kind of weights down your rifle a fair amount. It kind of feels a little bit bulky. So just know it can be a little bit of a negative. Okay, so that wasn't very many negative aspects, but there are some missed opportunities, some things I think they can do in the future. And if they do this, they will absolutely dominate the chronograph area, because there's a lot of other chronographs that are just kind of phoning it in with the way they do things. So first off is get a USB connection for an external power source, just in case, and allow us to charge it. You know, maybe some AAA rechargeable batteries, USB, that you could put it in, so you can either power it from a little small brick, or you can put it in your car, put it in a USB and charge it that way. Another thing that I think they can improve on the FX Chronograph is make the speeds a little bit wider, I should say. You know, maybe go up to 2,000 feet per second and down to 300 feet per second. Just give us a little bit more playtime, because there's probably a lot of guys who shoot 22s that wouldn't mind using this. So as I mentioned, this is fairly small now, but it's still kind of a beefy prospect in comparison to the Daystate Delta Wolf. And they could actually go a couple different ways with this. One, they can make this stuff super, super small, or maybe integrate it into like a silencer. There's a lot of different opportunities they have with this kind of stuff. In addition to that, you know, right now it's a little bulky, but I think they could make one and actually put it on every air rifle, or have the ability to kind of have an add-on to be able to put this kind of capability on every rifle, and they will sell a ton. Lastly, and most importantly, the thing that they could absolutely crush the chronograph world is put a ballistic calculator on this. Now, the lab radar, which is like $650, that device actually measures with radar the bullet speed as it's leaving the barrel at like 25, 50, and 100 yards, and it gives you a ballistic coefficient of your slug and how things are performing. This allows you to get like way out there and do kind of long range shooting. If they could do something similar with this, it's kind of the same technology. I don't know if it's powerful enough, but if they could do that, that would absolutely dominate a lot of stuff. So increase the speed and capability of this, maybe be able to do a ballistic calculation. It'd be a win-win for them. I think they would sell a ton. In fact, they might be able to offer two versions of this: the ultra compact that's on your rifle all the time, and then the one that you really want to get all the juicy details, the ballistics and shot strings, and keep everything there. All right, guys, so the final verdict is, you know, I am pretty tough on the reviews that I give out on devices and stuff that I buy, but this is a win-win. I cannot be without it. Just put it that way. If I'm not shooting my Delta Wolf, this is with me every time. I've actually thought about buying another one because I misplaced this one every once in a while, but it's just that good. And me setting up, outside of other reasons, I have a large lab radar coming in. That's just to do ballistic coefficient, and that's a pain to set up. This is, again, will be my main radar system chronograph, and I'm gonna give it like a 9.5 out of 10. If you haven't got one, if you're using a traditional chronograph, say this: you will not go back. If you're shooting air rifles and you put this on, you start working with it, you're gonna forget that other stuff. You're like, that just lessens your bag so much. So guys, I hope this helps. Got comments, questions, write it down below, and see you next week.